I started giving interviews. I failed for
Like
1 year.
1 year was struggle. Okay.
One
And
year
then,
was
yeah,
a very steep struggle, right? And
got
then
it.
I got into Amazon, like it was a fresher salary itself, but it was a
Got,
six-figure income, right?
got
It
it.
was definitely six-figure income, and they gave me stock options, like it
Excellent.
was really good, right? It was. Then I got promoted, and then that's when I got a huge bump, right? I
Got it.
got about like almost around like 35% increment, right?
Wow.
Which was really huge, which was
Good.
really huge,
Yes.
right? And then on additional some stocks as well. So
Hi friends, my name is Umkar Jagdare and I'm coming at you from Detroit, Michigan. And today I'm super excited to bring forth an interview with a friend of mine. He currently works for Amazon and he's going to share with you folks on how to do exceptionally well in your corporate career, how to get to those maximum six-figure incomes we talk about in your late 20s or early 30s, how you can do that. But before we get into the video, I would really appreciate if you can give me a thumbs up to the video. It allows me to reach out to more people just like you. One more thing I wanted to share with you folks today is Amog and me, we have started a joint program where we will be reviewing resumes and other documents which you think are necessary for your success in US. I posted a email link in the description where you can send us those documents. So if you have anything like that, send it to us. And with that, back to the video.
Tell me about like where you come from in India. Like basically, where did you do your like undergrad? What did you study in your undergrad? And how did you like kind of after that decided to come to US?
yeah, sure. So basically, I'm from Bangalore,
Okay.
and I did my bachelor's in computer science,
Okay.
right? And yeah, and really, what got me fascinated in computer science is like from 12th standard,
Mm.
right? I used to play a lot of video games,
Okay.
uh, and I wanted to become like a game developer, right? But that's when I got interested in programming, and I chose my undergrad as computer science,
Okay.
um, and yeah, then I got into this data stuff, right? Basically, my first job was related to data science field, right?
Okay.
And yeah, that's how my career started. And then I thought that okay, US has a lot of opportunities, right, in terms of data science, not just in um, a tech industry, but also in multiple other industries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of thought that okay, let me explore options of having a master's degree, right? And then I started applying to schools, right? I started preparing, I started
Okay.
applying to schools, right? I got admits from two schools, right?
Okay.
I think I applied for 5 universities and I got admits from two schools.
Got it.
One is
Okay.
University of Illinois at Chicago, and the other one is WPI, which is
Oh,
in Massachusetts.
University of Illinois is really good college. Yeah, it's one of the top
Yeah,
universities actually. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I chose WPI because
Okay.
at UIC I had to take some prerequisite courses,
Yeah.
right?
It's there's
So
to make money. Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't want to kind of do that, and I thought okay, let me take WPI because it had
Okay.
offering data science program in blend of three fields. It was offered by three departments: business, computer science, and mathematics department,
Okay.
right? So I thought that okay, it's a new program. It's not, it's I mean it's not a very popular school, at
Yeah.
least in India,
Yeah. Yeah.
but in the New England region, it's definitely good, right?
Got
For
it.
robotics and for computer science, it's definitely good. I would say it's decent. It's not bad, right? So that's what I did, and then yeah, that's about me.
Okay. So what year was this? Like when you were planning all of this, and which city were you living in at this time?
Sure, yeah. So it was in 2015, right?
Okay.
And I came to the US in August 2015.
Got it.
I was in Worcester, right, Massachusetts, which is
Okay.
about I think 1 hour drive from Boston.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, that's where I was living, and then yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. But back in India, where you came from, like
Oh,
which city?
back, I was in Bangalore.
Okay.
Like I never moved out anywhere, right? Since my birth, I was in Bangalore, so I didn't move out at all.
Okay.
I did my schooling, undergrad, work, everything there.
Okay, excellent, excellent. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So, okay, that's what I kind of wanted to know because even I did not know that, to be honest. I thought you were in the local Bangalore area or somewhere like that, but not exactly Bangalore. Okay,
Okay.
nice. So when you came to US for masters, like what were your thought process? Like, were you planning to like just go to college for a couple of years, work some a little bit, and then go back to India, or was your plan to stay here at that time?
Yeah. So my plan, I didn't have a plan, right?
Okay.
I went with the flow,
Okay.
right? Couple of years was challenging for me, right? I was not been out of my house at all
Yeah.
for like 24 years of my life,
Got it.
right? For 25 years of my life. But then I thought, okay, let's explore, right? Because if you go out of your comfort zone, that's when, life begins and you learn a lot of things, right? Not just from, um, you know, the college perspective, but also other things like
Other things.
personality development, money management, so many things, right?
Got
So, yeah, that was my thought process, and I thought that okay, let me expand my knowledge, right? Like
Okay.
whatever I had in bachelor's was not really, I would say, I didn't learn much. That's what I would say, right? Then I wanted to kind of have a different experience of education, right? Like how is in the US, right?
Yeah.
Where it's more of practical, more of project related works, more of team bonding, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, and WPI kind of for me offered it.
It
Right?
really
It
did.
was,
Yeah, I can totally relate to you. Like, so for me, I did undergrad here, and first, I would say first couple of months was really awkward. I didn't know how to like get along with people here, and like because you come from a different kind of mindset coming from India. Like homeworks, you only do like assignments is once in a semester where you finish all of that in a night. Here it was
yeah,
a little bit different. Every week we had to finish, and so
correct.
first 2 weeks I did not do them, and I was like, maybe it will just pass through, but I got like a 2 out of 10 on my math test, and my professor sat me down and he said, if you keep doing this, you're going to fail this class and you'll have to pay the $3,000 again. And
Yeah,
since then, I was like, oh my God, this is really different. Like, you have consistently study over the semester. You can't just
right,
do one nighters and pass. It's
right.
totally different here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, same thing happened with me, right? Since, I had to take courses from all the three departments, right?
Yeah.
There was a mandatory distribution of courses, like
Okay.
60% weightage on computer science, 30% on mathematics, and 10% on business, right? Where really I struggled is the mathematics part or the statistical part of it, right? I didn't have prior experience knowledge about that, right? So I had to take some, not the advanced courses, but like basic level courses, basic master's level courses, right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I kind of did, and then it was a good journey, right? Like it was a good journey, and my plan was to kind of spread, and I had decided the courses before, what I had to take,
Okay.
right? And what I had to become, right? It was clear, and then I had to evaluate my strengths, whether to kind of go into more of analysis field or more of development field related to data, right?
Okay.
That was my thought process initially. Again, I didn't have an idea of all these things prior to kind of coming to the US.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
I
you
kind of
basically figured out everything after coming here. You don't need
correct.
to know all these things because like sometimes people will ask me, hey, what field should I go into and stuff like that. To be honest, like until you come to the university and you sit down with your advisor and you go through those classes, that's when you kind of start finding out. And then
Correct.
even first semester, to be honest, you really don't know what you're doing. You just take classes they suggest you, and then you start figuring out, okay, maybe this is gonna help me. I like this class. I don't enjoy this kind of studies. Like I took geotechnical classes, I hated them, so I started taking other classes which I kind of enjoyed, and I also tried to take easy professors where I could get A's, and get out of
Right.
like that's what I
Right.
was kind of doing. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's what I kind of did, and then I think it was the third semester when I kind of figured out that okay, I don't think statistics is a job for me. I want to go into more of development.
Okay.
I'm good at kind of technical jobs, and that's when I kind of thought that okay, let me kind of now fixate on this and apply for jobs here, right? That's what I kind of did.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we were talking yesterday. So where you mentioned you graduated in about 2017 January
Yeah.
frame or like May frame. What timeline?
May.
But you had already started working as an intern. You had started working already.
Right. So the way that, as I told you, right, like my
Yeah.
journey, I came in 2015,
Yeah.
right, and then first 2 semester was like more of learning curve for me,
Okay.
right. It was a very steep learning curve, right.
Got it.
I struggled. I aced also in some subjects, and some courses I kind of struggled as well, right. I have B's, B minus, but then during the third semester, I kind of had the job offer from one of the companies in Boston, right?
Okay.
So I was about to graduate in May 2017, but I had a job offer in 2016 October itself,
Excellent.
right? And then what I did is I had one course, like 4 credits left, and each course is like three credits, 4 credits left for my last semester. So what I did is I took that 3 credit course as an online course, and then that 1 credit I kind of built for under CPT, working as a full-time employee.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Right.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. So you basically last semester you didn't have to go to college basically. So you just
Right.
yeah. So question here is, bro, is like for me, to be honest, finding your first internship, in my opinion, was like not the toughest, but it's challenging. You know, it's not as easy as you think it is because it's your first opportunity in US. You have never worked before. You know, some people are fortunate, they get it like few applications and get it.
Right.
Tell me your experience. Like, how did you go through this? When did you started applying? And what was your mindset on how to get into the corporate world, basically, as an intern?
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like a little bit fortunate enough, right? So
Okay.
what happened is when I came to the US, right, I met this really good professor from
Okay.
operations department, right? So he was from, I think, industrial engineering, and he was into more of supply chain, but he was into data science field where he was working with multiple organizations, right? Like for example, mainly US government organizations, right? Like, one such organization that I can think of is Lutheran Immigration Refugee Services, right? Which is a DC based this thing firm, right? So what he did is I kind of spoke to him initially. I told that I have a background in computer science and I have about like 2 years of experience in India working in these things, right? And he was on a hunt for, you know, students because he had projects from different companies or different government organizations where they had to kind of develop a tool with data science and application, which kind of, and operations research and applications, right? I'll not dig into the details here, but you know, that's what you know, he had, right? He had these projects, but he was looking for developers and he was looking for, you know, students for his research.
He was looking for
right,
basically.
right. And then what happened is I thought, okay, let me give it a shot, right? He told apply, right? It doesn't happen like in India, right? Like you have a conversation and you get the job. It's more formal here, right? So he asked me, go to the website, go to his website. So each professor here will have a website, right? So, and then under his website, they have a jobs listed, right? Like a research assistant, teaching assistant, jobs listed, right? So what I did is I went and I applied, right? When I applied, the resume that I had was like 5 pages, 6 pages long. That listed all kind of stupid things like what is my first language, like English, what am I, this thing, all those things, right? So then he told me, hey, this is not a resume, right? You have to have a 1-pager resume, right? And he kind of guided me about the resume. That's when I kind of started to, that was a learning curve for me, right? So then I applied, then he interviewed me, right? He interviewed me with like another 2 teaching assistants also interviewed me, right? And then fortunately I got the job within 1 week, right? And it was,
this job you're talking about, is it in the college or is it in
it's in the college? It's in the college, right?
So
it's in the college, right? So that's when, that led me to transitioning into, getting my internship jobs much easier compared to others, right? So I had a prior background. Okay, how to kind of do a resume, right? How to kind of network, right? How to kind of, apply for jobs, what jobs to apply, right? So I got this job. I arrived in August, and I got this on-campus job with this professor in October, right? And then
really? Within 1 month?
Within 1.5, 2 months, right? I was really fortunate enough. I didn't expect this at all.
This is unheard of. Yeah, this is very fortunate.
Yeah. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate, and I met this guy, this professor, in my, when I was socializing in a socializing event, right? So what I encourage new people is attend such events, right? Don't come out of this thing, attend such events, right? You never know whom you will meet, right? I happened to meet this professor, and it was a casual, dialogue exchange. And, he called me for an interview.
Excellent.
Right. And then I got the job, right? And that job turned out to be a luck for me, right? Like with that job, I learned so many things, right? And I had my courses as well, right?
Yes.
This was a 20-hour job, right? And which didn't require me to kind of go to this thing, like campus work there physically, right?
So you were doing it from home?
I was doing at home, right? And I had a meeting with I had a meeting with him like weekly once, right? Like a check-in kind of meeting, right? And then what happened is I started applying for internships probably after my first semester end, which usually happens in Jan first week or second week.
Yeah.
I started applying, right?
So
I got. Yeah.
Here you are going to become eligible in May because you need to finish 2 semesters, but you already started. You started 4 to 5 before.
Correct.
Yeah. At this point of time, you are also working with your professor. You haven't quit your job with the professor. You're continuing working that.
I'm continuing working, right?
So this is what I really like, sorry to cut you off, but so what I really wanted to maybe talk to people is that's what, when I was going to school, I was always out there. I would even in my classes, I would dress as I'm going for a job. I would always dress up a little bit nicer because I never knew who I'm going to meet. And my professors always would respect me that, hey, this guy comes on time. He comes with notes. He's here to study, he's not just here to check off that he's attending a class. And so even though you say you're fortunate, I feel like you kind of worked hard for it. You put yourself in that situation, putting yourself in situation where you kind of attract these opportunities to you is the critical thing in my opinion, because most people are not willing to. They'll just after class, they'll go home, they'll watch movies, they'll cook food. That's all they do. They just hang out with the same people, their roommates, 2 years. And so they end up having the same opportunities their roommates have. And most of them don't get any opportunities. So
right. So yeah, I was fortunate enough, right? Yeah. And then I started applying in Jan. That's when reality hit me, right?
Okay.
What I should have done is I should have practiced more programming, right? I should have practiced more and more and more and more, right? I didn't do that, right?
Okay.
That was an eye-opener for me, right? When I started getting interviews, right? So again, I made use of all the things, right? I made use of the CDC, which is called as the Career Development Center, where you go and review your resumes. They tell you the changes, right? I made use of career fairs, right? People tell all nonsense, right? Hey, career fair is nothing. They don't really tell. They tell you go and apply online, all those things, right? But I feel, it was again there was a learning opportunity for me that it's all about how you kind of market yourself and how you talk there in a crisp and one-liner so that you get attracted to them. Or they attract you, right? So I kind of made use of all the things, right? In spite of me making use of all the things, right? From a marketing perspective and from a job hunt perspective, what I was lacking is lack of preparation in the technical depth.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was doing all those things, but I was doing without preparation, right? I was getting interviews, but I was failing in the interviews, right? Why? Because I didn't have what they were looking for,
Okay.
right? Even as an intern,
Yeah.
right? What they were looking for. So what I did is, okay, let me take courses, right? I kind of started taking courses in Coursera, right?
Okay.
And I kind of started. There is this Lead Code platform where, for especially for software engineers
Okay.
and all, like people in tech, where you kind of, there are different questions within, the Lead Code platform where you kind of
Okay.
start coding, right?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is
So
a
I kind of,
website or this is like a platform? Just what is
it's
this?
a platform. It's
Okay.
a platform, right? Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure whoever will be watching this video will be aware, most of
Okay.
them
I'll
who
post
are
it
in at
in the
least
comment
tech.
section anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So um they were I mean, like, that's what I kind of started doing, right?
Okay.
And I started to get confident. Then when I was initially started off, I was nothing. I didn't know anything, but it's all factual, right? I started training. I mean, I started training myself, and I kind of did what I had to do,
Got
right?
it.
With the 2 months.
Yeah.
Then in March, I cracked one first interview,
Okay.
right, for the internship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Um, that was with Red Hat. I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard the company, but it's called as Red Hat. It's a pretty famous company,
Okay.
right? So I got a summer intern. It was a 12-week
Okay.
program, and I
Okay.
was working with my professor,
Okay.
right? I was working with my professor, and I was doing my courses as well.
So both things you're doing. So you're doing your
I
internship.
had to
How many
I
hours?
had to do an internship. I had to kind of, I mean, do an internship as in search for internships. I had to do my courses, assignments, and I had to work with the professor,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I could have just, many people told me just quit the professor job,
And
because just concentrate on the studies and this thing. I took their words for granted, right? So I was just managing the courses.
got it.
I was just managing. I was like that minimum guy, right?
Yeah.
Managing the courses, right? So it reminds me of a dialogue from Family Man. That's why the minimum guy. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So that's when I kind of failed to juice out from good courses in the second semester, right? Like professors were really great, they had great content, but I kind of just did the minimum thing, and I couldn't kind of juice out the maximum, or the take the maximum benefit out of it in terms of knowledge growing, right? Financially, I was like able to afford myself. I was not broke because I was earning, right?
Got
But
it.
I had an internship, and by, like, let's say mid of March,
Okay.
right? And it was due to start in May,
Yeah.
right? But I kind of failed to kind of exploit the courses, or kind of this thing. I kind of took it easy because I had an internship. I was doing this job, and I
Yeah.
was kind of chilling out. I took a chill pill, right? Then what happened is, yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the end of
Got
the
it.
semester. I got through. I maintained the 3 GPA, 3.0 GPA,
You have to have
right?
3 GPA to keep continuing. Yeah. Otherwise,
Correct.
they'll put you
I
in
had that.
yeah.
Yeah, had the 3 GPA, and then I hit the summer in Red Hat, right? It was more like a fun thing, right?
Got
I
it.
mean,
Did you
I
learn
kind
a
of
lot or just like it was just fun?
I could have learned a lot,
Okay.
right? But I'm not very satisfied with myself. I slacked a lot, right?
Okay.
I slacked a lot, and I kind of enjoyed a lot. And at the same time, I learned a bit. I would not say that it's an ideal learning, and I would not recommend doing that to especially with summer interns
Got it.
or internships, because that's where the opportunity comes in. If you are especially from a tech industry, they really consider you for a full-time job based on your performance internship, right?
Got it.
Because I didn't take lightly, I took lightly, right? I was not offered a full-time job.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
So
I was not offered a full-time job in the internship. Yeah.
got it. So now here is the question. So here is what I did in my internship. Like I used to get frustrated because they wouldn't give me enough work. That used to be my complaint. I worked in a government company and they barely worked. They would have a little bit work. I would maybe do 4 hours of work and then I would just sit down and just wait for work. So there was no such opportunity for me to prove myself. Like they liked me for my personality and stuff like that. I was able to built a lot of connections in the company. But
Right.
what happened with you? Like, what do you mean by I was not able to like prove myself, or like I slacked, like just had fun? Where you
Right.
felt like what you could have done different, where they kind of noticed that, oh, you know what, Amog is a really good candidate and we would like to offer him a further position.
Yeah.
What did
So
you feel was the connect break?
see, I can tell my perspective with the other guy, my co-intern, right?
Yeah.
What he did was, I was like more interested in attending the summer fest in the companies,
Got
kind of going and doing all the nonsense things, right?
Yeah.
But my coworker, what he did, he was smart enough, right? He
Mhm.
understood all the problems within the company, right?
Got it.
Like what all things were doing manually, right? And he started kind of automating those processes, and he kind of started, attending meetings. There is something called as in the companies in the US, right? There is something called as brown bag meetings, like
Yes.
lunch and learn,
Lunch and learn.
right? So he started kind of giving presentations, telling that okay, what work he did, right? What is the impact of it, right?
Okay.
And what is the thing? So he kind of slogged, right?
Yeah.
As an intern, you don't know much, right? You can't expect your code or your professionalism to be as good as a veteran in the company,
Yeah.
right?
He's taking
Um,
initiative. He's
he
basically
took the initiative, right?
yeah.
He took the initiative. He spoke to other interns, right? Who was this thing? He tagged along with them,
Got
right?
it.
He understood the problems, what they are doing in their team, right? And he started slowly incorporating this into his team as well, right? So he created projects for himself. He identified the problem. He created this thing. He was not just doing the problem statement that he was presented with, right? He went beyond. He went that extra mile, right? But I was not doing that, right?
Got it.
I used to come, I used to play ping pong. I used to go attend summer fest. That was just me, right?
Got it.
So I didn't do the groundwork, right? I didn't do the groundwork, right? Because of which then summer ended, right? Internship ended. He was presented with a full-time offer and I was not.
Okay.
Right.
Did he ask for it, or they just offered him directly? They were
They
like,
just offered him.
excellent.
They just offered him, right? They just offered him.
Yeah.
Hey, you're graduating this thing. Okay. Like we are willing to this thing. He got a call from the HR and he can get to choose teams as well, which team he wants to go.
Okay. Excellent.
Right. So that was the opportunity. So I would recommend people to make full benefit of this thing,
the internship
opportunity, right?
Yes.
Because I mean, you can just get by, but in the long run, it will kind of hit you.
True. I'll tell you a story of something, man, like a friend of mine. So I totally relate to this. So he struggled a lot. Okay. He struggled for almost 6 months to find his first job. After graduation, he was like going through big challenges. He found a job at Ford Motor Company in Michigan. Yeah. And he was paid $37 an hour. First job in America. That's a lot of money. That's like a ridiculous amount of money in Michigan also at that time. This is 2016. And $37 an hour, that's almost like 75 grand a year. And so he started going to work. Within a month, he kind of find out that there's not much work. They only call him when they need him. And he would just like chill out. He would spend half an hour in bathroom breaks and stuff like that. And he would text other people, do video calls from work. And it was really like, he took it for granted what he had been given, and one thing I've noticed is like, let's say whatever money they are paying you, if you put less than that, eventually somehow things will change in a company. In a year, there will always be challenges in a company, like at least twice a year, where there will be like, we need to lay off someone, or we are having bad times, so we need someone to work a lot. So it will be something like that. That happened to this kid. He lost that job because they had to do layoff like literally 20 people in the company. But because he was just one of those people who never added value, or he was not like, they didn't need him because the work was not needed. So they let him go. It took him another 6 months to find a job. And this time he only found a job with $52,000. So he had a second job 3 months later, which paid him even less because he didn't prove himself there.
Right. Yeah. So what I would recommend is definitely take the opportunity of this, right? I'm not telling that, work extra hours or something, at least work in that like the phase where you have to work, right?
Yes.
And then have a balanced life,
Yeah.
right? That's my recommendation,
Yeah.
right? Don't be like me. Don't miss out that opportunity, right?
Got it.
Because I'll tell you the story, right? I'll go on, right? Because of this missed opportunity,
Yeah.
right? The summer internship, I had to go through that process of applying again, connecting everything, right? And
Yes.
this time it was for a full-time job. It's not as easy as in getting an internship.
Yes.
Right. So for the full time, right, you will have to go through the general structure of the interviews. You'll have to, I mean, HR is easy, right? It's just your basic information. And then
Okay.
they'll have to evaluate you based on whether you require a sponsorship, right? Whether you require, relocation. So many companies will be allergic for, especially the startups will be allergic for relocation, sponsorship, etc.
Relocation,
right?
Yes.
So I had to kind of struggle, and then the full loop is when you go to the on-site and kind of they'll grill you. They'll really grill you. It's not like, if you put something in your resume,
they will ask you on that.
Yes, they'll
Every
make sure. And
statement is checked. Like people say,
Right.
oh, just put anything. No, I learned that. I had put a comment in that, which, I had written charismatic and confident speaker in this thing. And they were like, what is this? Prove it to us. So I literally like talk, like they put me on the spot and they will ask you whatever you write in that, they will ask you on that. Yeah. So
the way it works in the tech industry and computer science industry is like, they kind of, if you put programming, I mean, like they expect you to know coding, right?
Yeah.
It's a live code that they will ask you, right? And some whiteboarding
code in front of that. Okay.
You have to, there is no other thing. Go. You have to, right? They'll ask questions, and usually the questions will be related to their product or will be related to this thing. So believe me, the failures, I fell flat on my face, right? Because of the missed opportunity, the ship has sailed. The internship ship has sailed, right?
All right.
That guy, my coworker, he had a job in offer 1 year before graduating.
Yeah.
Right. And then I started applying for jobs probably in 2016 of right after my internships, right? Because I squeezed in, squeezed in multiple credits within my first 2 semesters, right? So that I leave room for job search in the last 2 semesters. That's how I had planned, right? So it was a kind of a tough hunt for me. The first job, I was not getting calls, right? I had to reach out to my network, right? And highly recommend people to kind of sign up for this LinkedIn Premium, at least make use of the free trial period, because you can send emails to recruiters. Believe me, it really works.
Got it.
It really works. It has a very good success rate, right? I did that, and then I failed in multiple interviews, and finally I kind of took this job where I would say the interview was pretty easy, right? It was not very gruesome, right? It was they didn't grill me on multiple things, right? Even though they had the general structure where they had a telephonic interview, and then there were there were on-site interviews where they kind of grilled me on the projects that I had worked on. But they really didn't check my like live coding or like whiteboarding, stuff like that. They kind of asked me about the projects, and I had a test as well, like a programming test, which was basic programming test. I cleared it, right? It turned out to be a service-based company. It was not a kind of a product-based company. It was a service-based company, meaning to say that their services was being offered to multiple clients. They had multiple clients, right? I would recommend, especially people who are from computer science background, not to kind of choose service-based and consult. I got content with that. The first job, I got content, and I stopped applying, and I stopped I stopped expanding my knowledge, right? That's another mistake that I do. Mistake number 2, which I did, right? And then I spent almost 3 years before moving to Audible/Amazon. I spent 3 years, but then my knowledge was not so great, right? So at Amazon, I had to start from scratch and almost join as a fresher, right? It's not almost, it's a fresher,
Got
right? So that was my journey. So
Okay.
I hope people who are watching this video take something from me. I mean, this is my experience and this is what I have gone through. I might be
Yeah.
correct, I might be wrong, but that's what I would recommend people not to commit these two mistakes, right? If
Absolutely.
they kind of do this correctly, then their journey will be smoother, right? They'll not go through this hurdles of being under time crunch of finding that job within that OPT start clock or
Start
something
date.
like that, like 90 days or something, right? Yeah, they
Because
have the
when you said that, like, imagine this now. Let's say, was your friend also an international student who got that
he
offer?
was an international student. He was an international student and he was an Indian as well.
Okay, so look at the difference, like, right? So imagine this: you have an offer 1 year later.
Yeah.
Like whenever you graduate, they don't care. Now they're bending backwards for you. They're like, oh, which day are you graduating? Which day
Correct.
does your OPT start? Here, you don't have to time the OPT. You don't have to worry, oh, should I plan 2 months for OPT, 1 month for OPT? Will I get a
Right.
job during this time?
Right.
So he was like, ahead of the curve. He was on the front end. Whereas people like me also, to be honest, I was always on the back end. I would look at what the situation is and then I would start planning for it. Whereas he had already dug his like well before he needed
Correct.
water. And so, like, to summarize what you just like told me, it's the choices you take during your master's period or your undergrad is kind of like puts you in position to succeed. The choices is what makes you.
Right.
And it's not like one choice is gonna like really affect you negatively. Like, you have done a lot of mistakes, I did a lot of mistakes as well. They never like affected me in the long term, I would say, but I had to struggle because I made wrong choices. Like, I had to go through different kind of like interviews. I had to plan for like immigration issues. Financially, it's also challenging. If you can't find a job for, let's say, 3-4 months after graduating, it's challenging. Where do you bring this money from? Because you're not you're not allowed to work before you start your OPT, like
Right.
3 months or something.
Right.
So it was a messy situation at that time.
Yeah, definitely. Right? It
Yeah.
was definitely a messy situation for me, at least. I mean, even though it was not as bad as the other guys,
Yeah.
still I felt that I could have done better.
Got it.
I've been in a much different situation because when I joined the service-based company, right, for obvious reasons, I don't want to take the name, service-based companies had a lot of visa issues, right? Since they were client-facing, I had to kind of go through this hassle of RFE with the H1B, right? Then the stamping was also a problem because a lot of my coworkers had got admin processing. So it was a really tough time, right? But I would urge to go through that initial struggle and get into a better company rather than choosing some random company, right? Because opportunities for computer science is abundant in the US, right? I would say it's second to none in the US. US is second to none in terms of the technology, right? So I would say
totally
turn out the maximum or like kind of juice out the maximum thing, right? Like, don't get inferior with hey, let's say if you get a FANG interview, right, like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and so on, right? So don't get, at least give it a shot, right? You will get to know where you went, like where you failed, right? And you can work on that. Right? That's what I can I didn't do, right? Which I should have, right? I got this offer, then I was like content. I stopped everything, right? I stopped focusing on my courses, I stopped focusing on everything. Right? It was like I was like a free this thing, but that freeness was temporary, right? It was very transient.
Like, this is what I wanted to also like kind of cover. Like, so people, what they think, like, the thought process is, when you graduate, you're done. You never have to study anymore. You never have to like grow yourself. And that is a really wrong kind of thought process, in my opinion, because you become stagnant. You will stay at that place for like rest of your life.
I know,
you get 10% raises, like 90,000, 95, 100, you get there, but you won't get the 40% raises you were talking about the other day, where that's what something I also wanted to cover. Because I kind of like, whenever you have been talking, I kind of understood that you've always been taking classes on Coursera. You have been like doing something outside of your regular work. You're kind of training yourself. And that's the reason I feel like, where how you got into Audible, Amazon is because you put so much value outside of work in yourself.
Right.
That you are becoming this valuable person, and it's very evident. When you go into an interview, they have seeing hundreds of people every day. When they see a good candidate, it's very easy. It's hard to fake yourself in an interview because that's
Yeah.
the reason they have it, and they can usually tell that, hey, how far this person is going to go in that interview and in the company. So let's talk about your journey from intern to Amazon. So how many jobs you held from your intern? So first of all, like college, you worked for some time, then you did your internship at Red Hat, then you worked at this company in Boston. For how many years did you work at this company?
I worked for 3 years,
Three
right?
years.
I worked for 3 years, right? Almost 3 years. And then, my knowledge was zero on that company because the client that I had didn't require me to kind of do something that is cool, right? They had to get this job. There was no innovation, right? There was no room for innovation. There was no room for this thing. That was the downside of not being in a product-based company, right? And the consulting company, right? There's no innovation, right? My whatever little knowledge that I had gone from my masters was already faded away because I was in this, right, like this consulting job, right, where like if I apply for jobs, right, obviously if I work for 3 years, I expect some kind of return, some kind of increment in my next job, right? That was shut down because whenever I used to attend, they used to ask for best practices, right? Ask for my experience, which I had none. So to change my job from that service base to Amazon, it took me almost a year. Right? It took me a year, not almost a year, but it took me a year, right? I failed in multiple interviews. I failed with Microsoft, I failed with Google, I failed with Facebook, everything. I failed. There are some instances where in the interview, the kind of the interviewer asked me some coding questions, which I took, if it was like 20 minutes question, right? I took 10 minutes to understand the question itself, right? And by the time I started kind of programming, I was left with probably a minute or two.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So I was that bad, because I didn't have the knowledge. Right. Then I started slowly kind of talking to different people on LinkedIn, saying that what are they doing in the company, what different they are doing, how are they kind of managing, let's say, there is some kind of a scenario, right? How are they kind of what best practices are they doing? Because my company was like minimal, basic. It was, the housekeeping of the code was bad. Everything was bad, right? Because of which I didn't have the knowledge, right, to kind of go and give the interviews or like confidence to face the interviews, right? So I started failing in the interviews, and then I took those failures I took and I kind of found solutions. Okay, I'm failing at this, right? What I can do to improve myself, right? So I kind of, it was a tough building block for me, right? Like a really tough this thing, because I didn't put in much effort in my masters and the internship, because of which I had to pay in my first job.
You had to
right?
pay the dues later.
I had to pay. Life made sure that I had to kind of pay everything, every penny
of it. That is so true, man. I'll be so honest with you. In America, like, you see, like most people think, oh, this person is working at all these like big companies. Oh, he's making maybe $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year at Facebook, let's say. And people are like, oh, he's just lucky or something. I don't think that way. I feel like there is a price you have to pay to get there. And the only people who will pay the price will get there. Either you have to be phenomenally people person, where your personality is so amazing that even if you don't know much technical, just having you in the company, that they are able to get other people motivated and they're able to get this excitement generated where people are excited to work. That is something. Or technically you are so proficient that you're able to solve their problems. Like, if they pay you $500,000, you better work. You have to give them more than what they're paying you for. That's the only reason they're going to keep you, in my opinion. So that's what I kind of understood. Like when you said I had to take 1 year literally to work on myself, and that's how you ended up at Amazon. It wouldn't have been possible otherwise. So
I failed multiple interviews with other things in Amazon, right? The tricky part here is, there is a like a cold period or a freeze period, right? Where you fail an interview with a job, you can't interview with that team for the next 1 year or 6 months, depending on company and the performance of your interview, right? If you're really bad, you can't interview with that company or the team for the next 1 year, right? And they take it very seriously, right?
I had no idea. This is very interesting. I did not know this.
So there is a cold period always, especially with the FANG companies, right? So
they don't want to waste their time as well. Yeah, they don't want to waste their time also.
Yeah, they don't want to invest time in you because they want to take this thing, and then when you come back, right, they will evaluate you on a different set of problems, right? What did you work in this 1 year, right, to get into this level, right? But if you are a guy where okay, I'm happy with the job, content with the job, I'm okay with the work life, like the work life balance, I just put in 2 or 3 hours in a day in work, and then I want to chill out. There are companies like that, right? But then you should not crib that, hey, I'm making only this much money, right?
You can't be happy.
You can't get everything, right?
You can't expect couple $100,000 a year with this kind of attitude. You always have to give more. Like that's the only.
So there are folks, I'm not telling that there are folks who are really smart, right? And I'm not that really, who are really, really smart, who put just 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day. They are very well good with time management. They are something way ahead than us.
They're
right?
different people.
So I'm an average guy, right? Let me be straight. I'm an average guy. I'm trying to improve myself, right? So for me, that's what my journey is, right? So that's how I kind of ended up at Audible, and then I came to know it was a very, very steep learning curve in Audible, right? Because of my co-workers, right? They had a lot of knowledge, right, from the previous company, and I started as a fresher, right? Even though I had 3 years of experience plus 2 years of experience in India, right? I started as a fresher in Amazon. Right? Because I had to do that. I had to pay the price, right? Because I kind of bottled everything. I bottled my, basically the opportunities that I had in college and the opportunity that I had in job. I kind of bottled everything. So I started fresh. I didn't mind because I was in a top company, right? And I was
good money.
I mean, I was not initially bothered about the money because I know it will come to me, right? In my early 30s or in my late 20s as well, it will come to me, right? But I wanted to kind of skill up, right? And I believe from my experience, if you do something practical and if you kind of solve a problem, that's when you kind of learn more rather than just taking courses. Right, it will give you, it will give you a tip of the iceberg, but to go deep, you need to work in such a company. In my company right now, I have a lot of time for innovation to solve problems, right? My manager encourages, right? You're free to do what you want to do. Your idea is respected, right? It will not be like in a service-based company where your work will be masked. Everything will be kind of open, right? Everyone has, during your review, they kind of look at your code, what code review you done to other people, did to other people, so on, right? So it's very, very transparent, right? So you have kind of opportunity to grow, right? They make room for it.
Nice.
Right? They open the floor for growth, right? So not many companies will offer you this. Believe me, not many companies will offer you this.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I wanted to switch, and that's why I was like okay with joining as a fresher with Amazon. Right. And then it was like L4, right? L4 is nothing but
joining
a base fresher level, right? And then what edge I had is like the 3 years experience that I had got, right? It was not like completely like I didn't learn anything. I had learned, right?
You had learned other skills, like how to teach yourself, how to solve a problem. That is one critical thing which I learned through my journey was also just like you is, if they give you something, like let's say they give you a challenge, you have to have the ability to do your own research, go online, figure out what this problem is and solve it. Like if you have to go back to the person, ask them, hey, how do I do it? Then they are like, what do you know? Like, do you even know how to find like a little bit information. Like, the
Okay.
way I do it is like, let's say if they give me a problem and I will work on it at least 15, 20, 30 minutes. I will do my own research. Even if it's wrong, I will show them. If I go back to my manager or someone, I'll be like, hey, this is what I did, and I'm not able to get to this solution. Can you help me out? But if you just go and tell them that, oh, I worked on this for 15 minutes and I don't know how to do it, but you don't have anything to show for, then they don't know how you are thinking. They
Right.
need to know how you're thinking so that they can help you with it, and so the ability to solve problems is the most critical, in my opinion, through whatever jobs you go through.
Definitely, right. So yeah, that's what I did, and then I got promoted within a year, right, and made sure that I didn't overwork, right, like I didn't like kind of put crazy like per week 80 hours, something like that. I didn't do that, right. I worked enough, right. I worked enough, made sure that I'm impacting, not just by my sprint tasks or just by whatever they gave me, right. I went over like, how can I make sure that this request doesn't come again? How can it be self-serviced? How can it be automated, right? So I went beyond that. That's why I got rewarded for it at the end of the year, right?
So actually, I wanted to ask you, like, we had that discussion, but if you feel comfortable, can you, like, I also wanted to know that your path, like, like you make really good income now for your age, less than 30, you're still making like almost close to $250,000, like you'll be there. So question is, like, how much did you made in your internship and how was your curve? Like, how much was your internship income? How much did you made in your first job? And then how did you make a move into Amazon, where like your first salary was significantly high and they even give you like other options like stock options and stuff like that? So how was that change? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So during my internship and during my on-campus job, it was like peanuts, right? Like, I mean, it was like pennies, right? Like during my on-campus, it was like, I think $15 or $10 an hour.
Yeah,
I think
same.
It started with $10 and then it increased to 12 and then it increased to $15 an hour, right? And then I used to work, like, you are allowed to work only 20 hours a week in the on-campus job, right? So I was working all the 20 hours. And then during my internship, that's when I got a bump, right? I think I was making around $29 an hour.
Wow, that's a lot. That's full-time salary in civil engineering.
So I was making $29 a hour, and then my first job was $90,000, right? My first job was $90,000.
And you worked there for 3 years.
I worked there for 3 years, right? And my salary didn't grow at all, right?
Oh, so they didn't give you 3% raises, like, or did they give you just minimum?
No, by the time I kind of left, I was almost around 95. I would say.
Okay, right? That's
95.
Okay.
Right. And my peers who had worked, they were making a lot more money. Right. So I was under the impression that they are lucky enough. But then I came to know that I don't know anything. That's why I'm making this much money.
Got it.
Right.
True. So good. In my opinion, you should change your companies every 2 years, at least for first 5 years in America, because you're going to learn, hey, what I really want to do in America, what position I see in, is this the friendliest people I can find, or can I find better people in life also? Right. So like that love affair with your first company shouldn't be there, in my opinion. You should always be open to like venture into companies.
Correct. Yeah. So, and then, like I started giving interviews. I failed for 1 year.
1 year was struggle. Okay.
1 year was a very steep struggle, right? And then I got into Amazon, like it was a fresher salary itself, but it was a 6-figure income, right? It was definitely 6-figure income, and they gave me stock options, like it was really good, right? It was, then I got promoted, and then that's when I got a huge bump, right? I got about like almost around like 35% increment, right? Which was really huge.
Yes.
Right. And then on additional some stocks as well. So now I'm kind of making that money, right, where I had to make like 2 or 3 years before.
Got it.
Right. So I have a lag of 3 years because I kind of gave up 3 years of my life. Right. So it's never luck. Right. It's what you sign up for and what the choices that you make. Even I was under the impression that it's luck, but I'm completely wrong. Right.
I totally agree with you. To be honest, like, I don't believe there is anything like luck or good fortune. I mean, like opportunities come to you. Absolutely. Yeah. It's good fortune. You're trying to be humble also, that, hey, you know what, like I did put in the work, but fortunate also. I agree with that. But it's about what your thought process is. Like, are you really thinking in the direction you want to be, and are you taking action towards it? Most people, they just like, they are like a plastic bag that flies in the air, right? It's like it doesn't have control where it's going. That's the problem. Like, you don't go through life like that. You have to have that, hey, 3 years down the road, this is where I see myself. So when I was talking to you, like, I was frustrated with making just 90-95 at the same company, not learning much. So I go through this 1 year of struggle to like grow myself and find where I want to be. And now you are at where you want to be, and you're kind of enjoying that perks of what you did. So
Yeah.
now, like, maybe just next 5 minutes I will wrap it up. But I also now, you have the wisdom of someone who works, where most people want to be. Like, let's say somebody who's like trying to come to US or already in US working a couple of years. Their goal is like, I want to make $250,000 in a company. I want to work, like, I want to get to that level where those high incomes are. Now, what I want you to talk about is like, okay, if you're making this high kind of high income, what is the price you are paying on a weekly basis right now? And then, is it worth it? And do you see yourself doing this for next 5-10 years? Or do you feel like maybe I don't have enough time to pursue my passions? This is kind of affecting me, and I would like to have a little bit more work-life balance where I can like work on my passions also. So
Right.
can you like
So
share a thought
the
process?
answer is twofold, right?
Okay.
So it's not just cracking an interview in a FANG company and
Got
then just getting by, right? You have to
it.
put in your work as well, because the workers around you, the co-workers around you are really smart, and there will be definitely a healthy competition. They will be kind of pushing you,
Yes.
right? Uh,
In these companies.
so right now I don't feel I am at that level where they are really where I want to be, right?
Got it.
So I have to do a lot of research, right? Lot of lot of research I have to do, right? Like, for example, right, a coworker of mine, if he is assigned a task, he might finish in 1 week, whereas I might take 2 weeks, because he already has that background, right? But
Mhm.
I have to do a lot of research, right? Why? Because he had put in the groundwork, right?
Before.
And he has that this thing, and he continuously keeps updated, and then he kind of uses the rest of the buffer time to pursue the other things that he is
Got it.
interested in. But for
Mhm.
me, right, I'm not yet there,
Got it.
right? Not at there. So I have to put in a lot of extra effort to kind of understand things, right, to get my work done. So right now, obviously, I'm putting in more than 40 hours, easily around, like, it's touching 50 hours, right?
Got it.
So I'm putting a lot of effort, right? So that is one fold, right? Like, where people are really smart and they kind of put less than 40 hours a week to kind of get their job done. But
Got it.
I don't have right now time to this thing. And the second question is like, where would I want to continue to do this, like, for 5-10 years? Definitely yes, right? Or else why would I want to come to the US, right?
Got it.
I would just be in India, and then I could have just be a regular guy there as well. I'm not telling that people are in India are also really doing good, really
Got
doing
it.
better than me as well, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I came here for a reason, right? And then like 5-10 years, definitely I see doing here, and let's see what life has got. Maybe if I kind of become good at my job, like, it's
Got
been
it.
like just 1.5 years since working in this company, right? So
Got
if I
it.
really get really good knowledge in the next 1 year, then maybe I might think of other things, where I might save some 15 hours a week, or like 20 hours a week, and then do something else, right?
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
I mean, I don't know if that answered your questions,
It
but
kind of did. Yeah. 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 So, like, here's the thing. Like, would you say, like, let's say, there are people who want to get to these incomes. Would you say paying the price to get here is worth it? Like, whatever price you have to pay to get to where you are, is it worth it? And would you recommend other people to do it? That's what kind
I
of.
would say it is definitely worth it, right? Like, if you are passionate enough, right? If you want to really know the meaning of engineering, if you really want to know, what you are doing is impacting customers, right? Then I would recommend, right? It's definitely worth it. But if you are more like if you see life from a different perspective, that I want to kind of take it easy, I don't want to have this much money, right? I want to kind of do other things, then that's fine as well. There is definitely jobs for you.
Yeah.
This thing, I wouldn't recommend them joining a big firm, right? Big firm, because to definitely, for an average guy or a above average guy, if you fall in that plus or minus 2 standard deviations from the bell curve, and if you are in that this thing, not at the extreme tails of it, right? Then you have to put in effort or pay the price to get you have to.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I understand. I totally agree with you.
This is what I'm just telling from my experience and experience from my friends. So my friends were not from IIT, or they were all normal guys, right? So they had to put in effort to kind of get there.
Got it. Excellent. That's pretty awesome, man. I loved like hearing your perspective on different things here, and I think that's pretty much what I had. And maybe last question I would like to ask is like,
Sure.
So because a lot of people will also want to know is, when you are making this kind of income, like what is your thought process on managing it, and what is your thought process on growing it further? Like, do you see yourself getting up to like $500,000 a year in next 5 years, or is your thought process like, what is your thought process now? Like, how do you manage your money?
My thought process is have the money work for you, right? Make benefit or take benefit of stocks, mutual funds, like bonds, all those things, right? Just read about like financial market is also a really interesting subject. Right, read about it. Start investing small, right? Don't, because every year your money is getting devalued because of the inflation. Right, $1,000 in 2020 is not equivalent to $1,000 in 2021. It might have devalued. Right, so money should grow and money should work for you, right? I would definitely encourage to kind of little bit, at least, like, if not to start off with like 5 hours a week, just 5 hours a week, or even 3 hours a week, right? Just in your spare time when you're relaxing, right? Just put in effort to kind of understand the financial markets, general economics, like what is inflation, right? A lot of resources, man, on the YouTube where you can really learn. Right, a lot of good people. So I would recommend, 1 second, sorry. I would recommend taking that advantage, and definitely invest in stocks, definitely invest in, have the money work for you, basically.
Got it.
Don't make it a race. Just start small, and then if you are enjoying your work, because work takes major chunk of your life, right? Like, if you draw a kind of a number line, I kind of copied this from one of the videos, like, if you take a number line and then from 23 to 60 you work, right? That's, let's say you live for 100 years, right? You're working almost for 37 years of your life, right? So which is like 40% of your life you're dedicating to work, right? So you should definitely make sure that whatever field, whatever it is, if you love traveling or whatever it is, make sure you need to kind of this thing, like pay attention to it, or kind of go via that route, right? Not just work and just investing, right? You should do that, right? But also have a balance, also have that, spice, where you make sure you travel, or follow some kind of a sport, right? Something, right? You need to have that. That's what my advice would be.
Okay, excellent.
I'm not very good with financial things. I'm just learning still, but that's what I am doing, at least how I'm managing the money, right? I'm not, portion of it I'm not kind of allowing it to devalue, right? I'm kind of making it catch up the inflation, or catch up the this thing, and make sure that $1,000 in 2020 is not the $1,000 in 2021.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing. Nice talking to you, Omkar. Any other questions?
I think that's pretty much it. But I also want to like what I want to do is like I would like I'm sure people would like to connect after this with you, Amog. So what I'm gonna do is if you're fine with that, maybe I can post your LinkedIn profile in the conversation in the comment section and in the descriptions, and that way people can reach out to you. And
Sure.
yeah, if they have any questions or they have any
One
concerns.
thing is I'm not sure if I've made my LinkedIn profile public.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
Yeah, but I'm happy to share my email address, and
Okay, yeah, sure. Any
where we can
platform
connect, and then
whatever. Yeah. And
yeah.
so yeah, just for this thing, folks, don't spam him for a job at Amazon. Don't do that. You know, but definitely reach out to him if you have any questions, personal questions. If you are not like if you don't know how to get there or something like that, which we did not discuss here. Do definitely connect with him. He's available to help you guys. He's there for
Yep.
us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you taking your time, man. Like, yeah, like thank you for reaching out to me, and it's just been a really good friendship since then. And it was nice to meet you in New Jersey last week when I came there. So,
Yeah.
hope
Yeah, sure.
have more
Sure.
fun together.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yep. Take
Speak.
care. All right. Yep. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye.